Remember, we had talked about exaggerating the figure or the form, and that's what I'm going to do. So since the Hulk is supposed to be sort of like a super hero slash villain, I have to try to make him look mean. And so I'm going to draw like an egg shape for the head. I'm sketching lightly. Then his body is going to be huge. So for the Hulk, what the artists usually do is they make the head very small. So I'm just sketching in the body. We talked about gesture drawing. Right now I'm doing more what's called contour. We haven't talked about that yet. I'm doing contour drawing. And it's in a gestural format. A contour drawing is basically the outline. So I'm drawing the outline of his body, and it's sort of like he's coming at you with his head first. His arm and his hand's going to be out in front, so I'm going to make that larger, and I'm going to make his head very small. But I'm going to try to get him down on the paper. Right now I'm just trying to see where his body is going to be. Okay, so his body's going to be around here. This would be the head, the shoulders, the chest area, the torso, which is going back in space, and then his leg is coming forward in space. So you think about a bodybuilder. I say if you like to do comics and if you like to do superheroes, I want to suggest that you buy those muscle building magazines by Muscle. I don't remember the name of magazines, but it's like learn the muscles, basically. Learn where they are. And one thing about comic book artists is they understand perspective. So my Hulk is going to be, I don't know, maybe a little different than the one I'm looking at. So remember the egg shape. Now his hair is going to be slanted like that, like so. So I slant the oval. I'm going to draw lines just to remind you about where everything goes. Everything is extreme. So the Hulk is going to have a very small nose. So with the Hulk, everything is extreme here. But this is basically, I'll leave it slanted that much. Well, I'll make it. Sometimes it's like, I don't want it exactly like the picture, okay? So he's mad, so I'm going to draw the furrow of his brow. I'm just going to use a line, because he's angry. And the Hulk, the more angry he gets, the stronger he gets. So that's the furrow of his brow. Then these are half circles for his eyes. We're going to have him sort of looking to the side here. Now his nose is going to be truncated or small. All these things are going to make him look strong. He has huge muscles. So I'm sketching with pencil. His ears are going to be small. And I tell you what, if you are drawing a cartoon or a comic or a person, if you want the person to look like, or the cartoon to look like, well, they're kind of, they're not thinkers, I'll put it like that. You want to exaggerate some things. So I'll draw his teeth coming around. It's an oval. So let me show you what I'm doing. So I have his head on this line here. I have it slanted. Since we're looking at the top, looking down on him, if you were drawing an egg, this would be the shape of the egg shape. So this line would be bent, these lines would be bent. These lines just show you where everything goes, the eyes. So the nose, with the hook, the nose is right up to hit the furrow. For a normal person, this would be the line for the nose, but with the hook, the line is way up here. See how that's exaggerated? If you were drawing a real person, the nose would come down here to this line, but not with the hook. So as I was saying, this is what I'm doing here. We are having some difficulties with our streaming, so that's why we may go dark. And if we do, we'll switch into another camera just to let you know. So I'm going to do the mouth huge like that. Then see, this line is curved because we're looking down in this direction. So this line has to be curved. So it's like drawing an egg. See this egg shape? So we're looking down. So the line has to curve around. If I draw straight lines on this egg, when I turn it, see how the line looks like it curves? So I just drew the line straight. Because this is round, the line appears to curve. If I turn the egg this way, the line appears to curve in the opposite direction. And that's how And we had been talking about perspectives. So this is what I'm doing. Let me get a marker to show you. So his furrow of his eyebrows, I'm going to make it extreme. His nose is small. His top lip comes all the way up here close to his nose. His bottom lip is way down here. And again, I want it to be extreme. These lines for his teeth is curved. And his ear is going to be very small. So that makes it look like this is not a thinking individual here. This guy's just mad. So that's basically what I'm going to be doing. I'm probably going to make his chin very small. Okay. So that shows you. You could get a better view of what I'm doing. Now, when we do a gesture drawing, we're drawing what the object is doing or the person. Always remember, he's going to have cheeks and he's going to have a jawbone when you're drawing a person. Small ears. I like when they draw the Hulk and you just have like a little patch of hair up here on the top. I like it when he has a huge forehead and a patch of hair like that. Okay. So I'm changing from what I'm changing the Hulk that I'm using as a model to suit the way I want to draw him. So, his muscles have to be huge. His shoulders are going to be huge. A strong neck, wide neck. This is just his shoulder. Now this is his bicep, his tricep. His fist. You can look at your own hands to see how to draw a fist. You can look in the mirror. To learn how to draw a face, just look at yourself. Look in the mirror. Use the mirror. The larger I make his body, the more powerful and superhuman he's going to look. So see how small the head is? You could actually, now for the regular human body, you should be able to fit 3 heads on the body to the shoulder. So now on here you can fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's how much I've exaggerated. huge bicep. With the, you see the vessel here, the veins. So this fist is coming at you, so it's going to be huge. These comic book artists, they are excellent artists. They really know the figure, the human body, how to draw it. And they do it almost as effortlessly because that's what they do every day. Anything that you do every day, you get better at. Anything. Practice make perfect. So I started drawing. I meant to, and I forgot to, I meant to bring my first, one of my first drawings as a child. I think I made that drawing when I was about 6 or 7. But I forgot to do that. This is his shoulder here. The big old lump here is this shoulder. Maybe I'll bring that drawing next time. Now, with his chest, we just put striations in his chest to show he's training, and it's nothing but a mass of muscle. Now, I'm going to give him, usually with the Hulk, he's grown out of his clothes. His clothes are usually torn. Okay, I'm going to stop it there, I think, because I want to color. I think I'm going to spray this, if I can, there it is. I'm going to spray. Spray lightly and wait a minute. So see how the paper is buckling? Spray makes the paper buckle, so I'm just gonna put something here to hold it down till it dries a little bit more. So I started off drawing Superman and Batman, and I couldn't draw. I mean, most of you kids can draw better than I could when I was your age. But I just like art so much that I never stopped. So what color pencils? Now, you guys have a set sort of like this. And I'm going to start off using yellow for highlight, and then I'm going to use the light green and the dark green. I may go, I have a lot of color pencils, as you can see, so I may go to some of my other color pencils. But all these pencils here or student grade. I'm not actually using the artist grade colored pencils. So you can buy these in your local stores. So I'm thinking about highlights. I'm going to use this to keep my hand off the paper so I don't smudge the pencil line. So you can exaggerate these muscles, kids. Remember that. Just make them big. And the muscles are like circles. That could be the shoulder. That could be the bicep and tricep. That could be the forearm. I don't need it. Isn't that that was my hair dryer. So see, if this is the shoulder, they're usually going to have lines like that on it. Bicep, and usually there's going to be a line here somewhere in the bicep, tricep. Then the forearm, which will have a wrist attached to it. See how easy that is to do? So remember, I've been preaching this all year. We just look for the shapes. Okay. So basically what I just did with this area here, okay? So it's easy. You just have to look for the shapes. If you can find the shapes, you can draw anything. And with practice, you get better. You see more. So light is going to be coming from the rear. So the lightest color. I could have left that white as well, or light green. So everywhere there's strong light, I'm just going to color yellow right now. And I'm actually digging in with this color pencil because I wanted to go on almost like a marker. So the highlights hitting the side of his face here. You know, I could have, you know, I didn't think, but I could have, and I should have, and I will go back and ink this. Well, no, I won't. I'll just use color pencils. I'm not going to ink it. If you're drawing, I'll give you time to catch up. See, now it's time for me to sharpen my pencil. So I decided not to ink this, so the whole thing will be done in pencil. So I'll use color pencil to do this entire thing. Highlights. The light is coming from the rear, So that's why I put the highlights on at the top of his head, and his hair, and the side of his face, underneath his arm, part of his chest. So I'm sort of really digging into the paper so that this will look solid. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use light green. And I want to show where the folds, where everywhere that I want to show a shape, the shape of his head. Like right, or the shape of his body, to make it look more rounded. I'm gonna go ahead and put in some light green. So I'm gonna go back with the dark green. I can actually do that. I'm gonna just just color his whole body with light green. I think that would be the best, the quickest way. Then I'll just go back in with dark green and show where it's rounded. Now I'm not really digging in too much with the light green. I don't care if some of the white of the paper show through. But when I go back with the dark green, I'm going to dig in a little bit more. See, since I know I'm going back with dark green, I can just quickly cover his entire body with the light green. And the last thing I'm going to use is going to be black. And I may use a marker, or I may use black pencil. I don't know. Whichever one works. I don't know if the marker, if I was going to use a marker, usually I would have already used the marker before using the colored pencil. Now, colored pencils, there's a lot you can do with colored pencils. Not just cartoons, but you can do abstract work, you can do realistic work. And I think I may use a marker for his clothes, just so that it looks like, you know, he's a little bit different than cloth. His skin is going to look like it's different than cloth. See how fast I'm working now? So I don't have to, since I'm coloring a large area, I don't have to go slow. I'm just trying to get it covered. Large areas first, details last. So if I know his skin is green, I can just color his skin in. And this is This picture is still very sketchy. I've sketched it. Okay, so I've colored that in, which is good enough. I can go back if I need to later. Now I'm going to go with a darker green. Usually you go from light to dark, light colors, then dark colors. I'm going to use this green here because I like it. I think maybe I don't like it. Let's see if I have a darker one. I don't think I do. They're about the same, so. Okay, this is I'm trying to find my darkest green, but these are all the same, so. I'll use this. So I'm sort of shading with the green. Now I am drawing a little fast here. With your drawing, you wouldn't go this fast. I just wanted to make sure I finished this. You have to make decisions now. So when you're making decisions, you slow down. Also, I'm putting various pressures on the green. Like right now, I'm pressing hard. Right here, I didn't press so hard so that you could see some of the light green underneath. When I'm pressing hard, I don't want you to see anything underneath. So I'm going to go back, if I have time, with black and put in dark shadows, but we're still just drawing the green. So I see this as drawing. We're drawing. Even though we're coloring, we're still drawing. Now, this would be easier for me if I had not looked at a picture and I just draw my version of the Hulk. And that's why I suggest you do. Once you learn how to draw the Hulk, first copy, and then once you are familiar with the Hulk or whatever you're drawing, then just draw your own version if you're doing a comic. Now, a lot of you already do that. But if you just try to draw what you see every time, you never get any better. But when you try to draw your own version, then you get better at seeing. So it's always good to be creative. So you see I'm getting darker in some areas to try to show these volumes here. First is Giving Tuesday. And since we are a nonprofit, we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We've been supported by Arts Build, the Tennessee Arts Commission, the Lyndhurst Foundation, EPB. Let me think of some more. Footprint Corporation. We've been supported in the past by the Community Foundation of Greater Chattanooga, Tennessee Valley Federal Credit Union. But our most important support comes from donors like you, people in the community who give $10 a month, $20 a month, $100 a month, whatever, to keep us in the studio, to keep us working and teaching and providing art classes free. That's when I was a child. My parents couldn't afford for me to take art classes, so my wife and I, 10 years ago, decided we was going to try to do something about that. That if any child has art ability, we would teach them for free. But it costs money to, especially to do these live feeds costs money. But art supplies, all the supplies are free. Hopefully before Christmas we can give away some more supplies, but we're waiting to see if a couple of grants come in before we could do that. But so that you could follow along with us. But before the pandemic, we would have 4 to 5 classes a week, and we believe that everybody deserves the right to be creative, and that's why we're here. And I wish that there was a splash. Now I'm using black. Oh, I love how this is looking already. So now I call this the coup de grace, which maybe Iantha knows what that means. Do you know what that means, Iantha? I know it's French, right? But this is what's going to make it sing. So you see, I've just been building up. You can see white under the yellow. You can see yellow under the green and light green under the dark green. Now I'm going back with black. Now normally, you really would take your time. I'm going to really take my time on the face a little bit so you can see the possibilities. So I'm drawing in the darker shadows. I'm going to give him some thick eyebrows to really make him look like he's angry. See that? So black color pencil is darker than just regular pencil. Now I'm shading, sometimes I'm pressing down hard, sometimes I'm pressing down light. So we vary the pressure. I'll put a little red highlight on the side of his face here. So we vary the pressure of the pencil. Kind of like painting, but with painting you just change colors, but with pencil you vary the pressure. Sometimes you're pressing hard, sometimes you're barely touching the paper. And that's how you can get different shades and variations of color. Okay, the black would have been done by a comic book artist with ink. I would love to do, for years I've wanted to paint the Hulk or one of these comics, and I haven't been able to think of a good reason to do that. who would buy it? I don't know. If I could think of a good reason, I would love to paint the Hulk in oils, oil paint, or I don't even think I would want to do it in acrylic. See, that brings that face out, doesn't it? Now remember, I can always go back with my other colors as well. I'm trying to keep, I'm using this paper, excuse me, to keep my hand off the paper. See, dark against light is very dramatic. So that's why we save the dark to last. With our kids, we say we don't use black when we paint. You can use other colors when you're painting to create a dark impression that looks like black. But if you were going to use black in your painting, you would use black last. Black is very hard to control. It's like once you use black, you can't go back. That rhymed. So just going to show that this is round, this big shoulder. I'm putting quite a bit of pressure on it. Now, I don't want to break the lead though. So I want that to get real dark. So a lot of you kids, you don't have paint. All you have are color pencils. But you see, you can do a lot with color pencils. If you can draw, you can paint. So really focus on your drawing. Now, what happens is a lot of people, they get really good at drawing, then they develop a fear of painting. Because drawing and painting are different. You go about it in a different way. But I can tell you, if you can draw, you can paint. You just have to learn the techniques. Like anything else in life, it has to be learned. And you will learn because you are talented. And just don't quit. Don't stop something until you learn it. Some people stop when it's hard. The hard things are the best things. Because once you can do something that other people can't do, see how I broke that? But that's mainly because I used the pencil sharpener on this. You should not use pencil sharpeners on color pencils. You should not use electric sharpeners. You should use the handheld, these sharpeners here. Okay, let's go. Let's get this. I have plenty of these though, dark greens. See how I'm changing things around, going back in green here, using green here, going back. So this is how you build it up. When I say build up, it's sort of like it's modeling with clay. You're modeling, so you're building up your figure or your form by using different shades and values, okay? So you go back I'm going back because now I see, what the black is doing. So now I can go back with green and build this up a little bit more. I want it to be a little bit more dynamic. By the way, comic book art is a multi-million-dollar business now because a lot of the comics are now being made into movies. There's a new Wonder Woman movie coming out. I don't know when, but it all started with comics. When I was a kid, I used to pray that one day the comics would be in the movies. That's a child's prayer. I mean, I actually prayed. And and now we see it has been a reality. It's come to be a reality, and I enjoy those comic movies because I always wanted to see a movie, of the Hulk when I was a kid, or Batman or Superman. But now you kids, you can go to the movies and you can see movies of these characters. And I think it's great. So there's a lot of money in it. Disney and other companies, Marvel, Disney, you can make a lot of money just drawing comics now. And if that's what you like to do, that's what you should do. And always you make art for you first, for you, because it makes you feel better. And it turns you into a human being that's not just about money, but you're about beauty and storytelling and all that good stuff. Also, art calms me down. Does it do the same for you? I bet it does. I'm going to do this. I may not color the entire Hulk because I want to show you something, or I may stay on a little later since we had a hitch in coming on with our live stream. But I want to show you a little something that just came to me. So I get ideas while drawing, when drawing. So a lot of times you have to start making art before you can make art. I'll say that again. Sometimes you have to make art in order to make art. So I got this idea. Now, this idea, it may work, it may not. Just because something works once don't mean it's going to work for everything, okay? But if you see something in your mind's eye, which I just did, then it'll probably work. Anyway, I want to show it to you guys. So I'm going to darken this a little bit, this side of this chest. So by me darkening this side and making it a little darker than that side, it takes this chest back in space. And if I go ahead and darken all of this a little bit, the bottom part where the stomach is, it takes that back that way in space. forward. I always say words like hopefully, because this is not an exact science. Sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't work because I don't do it right. So I had to figure out another way to do it. So use whatever works. If you don't like the way it's looking, change it. In art class, we don't have erasers because we don't want to erase, we want to change things. That's how we grow. Not by starting over, but by fixing mistakes of fixing things and changing things, trying to find ways to make things work. That's how you grow in art and drawing and painting. Don't just give up on something so quick. I want his arm to come down like that. So I just did it. See, I just made it bigger. I want his arm to be bigger. Okay, I'm going to show you this right quick. Okay, this is what I want to do. I want to get my black marker. I just want to see what it looks like when I put a black marker behind him. I want to see if it makes this highlight show up better. I want you to see this. Then we'll be done. So I'm using a marker now. And I knew that this marker was going to be very dark, very black. I wanted to put this marker behind the yellow highlight. I'm going to do some cross hatching. Speed things up. It'd be nice if I had a wider marker, but I don't. But see, I had some new markers somewhere. There they go. There they are. I tell you, I'm just knocking things down on the floor. So what? So I wanted you guys to see if I got that background very dark, what it would do. Yep. So this is the Incredible Hulk. See how you just keep drawing. I could draw on this another hour, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to bring his head out a little bit more with the marker. I'm having fun, so it's hard to stop. You know how it is, kids. Once you start drawing, isn't it hard to stop sometimes? I know it's time for me to go, but just by putting some very dark lines in certain areas, you see how it just bring things forward, then put your name on it and your age. That will do it for today. That will do it for today. Thank you. I've enjoyed this. I hope you have too. Until next time, remember, Art is for everyone. Bye-bye. Have a good weekend.